Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and welcome to GH Talks Psychology. My name is Caitlin Billenduke. I am the Liaison Events Coordinator here in Student Recruitment at the University of Guelph-Humber. It is my pleasure to be your host over the next hour. We have such an exciting evening ahead and as we're talking all things psychology. So we really hope that you are just excited as we are to talk to you about psychology. Now, before I introduce my other colleagues joining us today, I just wanted to walk you through a few housekeeping items before we begin. So as you've noticed, we are taking a break from the chat feature this evening. So with that said, if you do have any questions, please submit those at any time in the Q&A feature in your taskbar. You'll be either addressed privately through text, or we'll cover frequently asked questions live at the end of the segment. We may post some additional resources in the chat as well, so feel free to check these out throughout the webinar. Now, we ask that you keep questions tonight specific to the psychology program. We do have other upcoming program webinar dates, and those can be found on our GH Talks website. If you ever need to circle back on any of the information that you've heard today, a recording will be available on our website at a later date, so you can always check back there. Now, without further ado, I am very pleased to introduce our first presenter, who is my colleague, Joseph Italiano, who will take you through who we are as a university, the program, including first-year courses, unique opportunities, and so much more. Welcome, Joseph.
Thank you, Katie, and hello to all of our future students this evening. Now, I want to begin today's presentation by giving you a big shout out, as we know that navigating through this pandemic can be challenging for many students as you transitioned from to an octomester or a quadmester to online learning, or perhaps a hybrid approach. And as we recently learned, you'll be transitioning back to online learning again. Now, by joining us this evening, that likely means that you've already made an application to the University of Guelph-Humber. And that means that you've also taken that next step in your post-secondary search. Now, for those of you who haven't yet applied, or if you're thinking about making an application, the good news is our application to the psychology program still remains open at this time, but I want to remind you that it can close at any time from now. Now, we'll begin by going on to the next slide, and we'll begin with a little statistic from Stats Canada. Now, recently, Statistics Canada released survey results that showed that 14% of recent college graduates first began their studies by completing a university degree. They then chose to obtain their diploma at a college after attending university because they wanted to gain more specialized hands-on training through the college diploma that was most related to their undergraduate degree. Now, the good news for all of you is the University of Guelph-Humber is the collaboration between two renowned institutions. You have the University of Guelph and Humber College Institute of Technology and Advanced Learning. Our graduates, in 4 years of full-time study at our one location in Toronto, cross that stage on graduation day, earning 2 credentials. That's a degree from the University of Guelph and a diploma from Humber College, saving you more time and money. Now, if you're wondering how this is achieved, how is it possible to gain a university honors degree and a diploma concurrently within 4 years? Well, this is done because our curriculum at the University of Guelph-Humber is more focused. This means that the majority of your courses consist of only the majority of your courses are program specific, with a maximum of only 5 electives per program. Now, this means that you'll be studying what you're truly passionate about, in this case, psychology, starting at your very first day on campus. Now, at the University of Guelph-Humber, we offer you more practical experiences, and this is found through your field placements. Each of our 7 programs at the University of Guelph-Humber have workplace experience built right into the curriculum. So depending on what program you ultimately choose, you may be required to complete anywhere from 100 hours or all the way up to 850 hours of in-field experience. Now, being located in Canada's largest city, Toronto, places you in the center of all opportunities. And the University of Guelph-Humber has done an amazing job building many networks and connections with major organizations and companies within our own community, which makes it easier for you to secure those placements. Now, our instructors at the University of Guelph-Humber also bring more knowledge and experience to the classroom, as they are easily able to connect real-life experiences to those theoretical concepts being taught to their students. And this is made possible as many of them are still working or have worked for a number of years within the related area of study. Now, the University of Guelph-Humber offers you a more close-knit community, which provides you with more opportunities to create those invaluable industry connections. Now, by attending the University of Guelph-Humber, you will experience the unique opportunity of small campus and classroom size. With a student population of just under 5,000 students, you are placed in an academic learning environment where close bonds and friendships are inevitable. The average class size is just 49 students, with the largest lecture hall being a maximum of 125 students. A close-knit community ensures that you will be on a first-name basis with your instructors, providing you with that advantage of gaining personalized reference letters and one-on-one supports within the classroom. Now, taking a look at the next slide. As a psychology graduate, upon 4 years of full-time study, when you do ultimately cross that stage on convocation day, you'll be earning for sure 2 credentials. You will earn an honors bachelor's of applied science in psychology, and again, that would be from the University of Guelph, and a diploma in general arts and sciences from Humber College. But if we take a look over at the next slide, our psychology students will also have the option of earning a 3rd credential. Now, in addition to earning that degree and that diploma, you can receive an optional certificate in either intercultural relations, organizational behavior, or research skills and analysis. That's pretty incredible when you think about it. It's a degree, a diploma, and a certificate in only 4 years of full-time study. Now, gaining 3 credentials is what makes us at the University of Guelph-Humber unique, but it's also what will make you stand out to employers. By earning a degree, a diploma, and a certificate, this will tell employers that you not only have the knowledge of the field, but also the hands-on experience to do the job successfully. Now, taking a look at the next slide. Having a close-knit community at the University of Guelph-Humber ensures that you'll have a meaningful experience as a student while with us. When we look at the psychology program, typically there are about 130 first-year students within this program. This means that the average class size for psychology students is approximately 49. A smaller class size is what allows you to have a more interactive and engaging lecture, where you are guaranteed to get to know your professor and peers on a more personal basis. Now, if you're wondering why that is important, why is it important to get to know your instructors on a more personal basis? Well, at the University of Guelph-Humber, our professors are leaders in the industry. Getting to know your professors will make it easier for you to gain those personalized reference letters and, once again, those connections in the field. Say, for example, your instructor comes across a company or an organization that is currently hiring for a position. Because of the fact that they may know you on a more personal level, they may actually approach you to tell you about that position, as they may see you being the right fit. And that's just one of the many advantages, of course. Now, moving on to the next slide. In your first and second year of the psychology program, students will gain a foundation of key concepts in all areas of psychology. Now, presented on this slide, you'll see the full list of first-year courses that you will be taking. Now, these courses serve as a foundation to the study of psychology so that you can begin to understand human behavior and mental processes which will allow for a better understanding of how we as humans think, act, and feel. Now on the next slide, you'll see that psychology students will complete 100 hours of workplace experience. Now, if you have investigated other psychology programs, you'll likely recognize that receiving placement experience in an undergraduate psychology program is not common. We are extremely proud to offer our students 100 hours of experience so that you can bring together the theory that you've learned within the classroom to a practical workplace setting. Now you will be able to complete your placement in your third year of study. Now, as mentioned at the beginning of my presentation today, the University of Guelph-Humber, more specifically our Career and Placement Service staff, have built many connections and partnerships with employers in our community. And presented on this slide, you will find a short list of some of the employers that we have built connections with. I want to assure you that the list presented on this slide is not an exhaustive list by any means. It is just a short list there to give you a few ideas. So students in the past have completed their placements with the Kids Help Phone, the Psychology Foundation of Canada, and Credit Valley Hospital, to name a few. Now moving forward to the following slide, our psychology students are provided with more opportunities as they can take part in an optional field study to Moosonee, Ontario. Now, Moosonee, Ontario is located approximately 850 kilometers north of Toronto. Here, students will have the rare opportunity of learning from and the opportunity to visit residential school survivors, traditional healers, knowledge keepers, elders, community members, and learn about approaches to mental health in the James Bay and Hudson's Bay region. Now, on the next slide, you'll see that as you embark on your post-secondary journey, many of you may find it refreshing to know that we at the University of Guelph-Humber are here to support you. We have academic advisors who are similar to your guidance counselors, and they are here to support you along your academic journey. Now, the Student Wellness and Accessibility Center is available for students who may require accommodations. And students will also have access to inclusive services such as the LGBTQ+ Resource Center, the International Center, and the Indigenous Education and Engagement Center. Now, today, we are also joined by Sandra Fazio, one of many career service coordinators, who will take you through the next couple of slides and tell you about the services and supports that Career Services has to offer you and what you are able to do once you graduate from the University of Guelph-Humber's psychology program. Sandra, without further ado, take it away.
Thank you, Joseph. Hi, my name is Sandra Fazio, and I'm a career coordinator here at the University of Guelph-Humber. And my programs that I oversee are psychology, justice, and kinesiology. As part of an 8-member team, we work to provide personalized and relevant career advice to our students from year 1 right through to alumnus. Whether you're looking for a job, developing networking skills, researching and preparing graduate school applications, or defining your career goals, we can help with that, just like the slide has said. Please change slides. Next slide. As a career and placement service, as a coordinator, my role is really to network it with employers and explore potential career paths and further education opportunities through both on and off-campus events. My role is really working with students one-on-one, but my role also encompasses putting on job fairs, career workshops, skill building workshops. We work specifically with our psychology students for pre-placement workshops. We do 5 of those, including a networking event where we teach you all about how to be successful in field placement, resumes, cover letters, interview skills. And I do a plethora of graduate school explorations. We also host an annual graduate fair. And again, lots of one-on-one support with many online resources that are available to students. Next slide, please. These are just some career sample careers that some of our students have gone into over the years. As Joseph has mentioned earlier in the earlier slide, this is not an exhausted list. This is just, some of the places that our students have gone. We have some wonderful opportunities with, and I'm just changing over pages. Ability Online, Alzheimer's Society, I think was one that Joseph had mentioned. Senior living residence, where we work. A lot of our students have gone into being support workers. Private practices for psychotherapy, just to name a few. Next slide, please. A lot of our students go on for further education. So by completing your degree here at the University of Guelph-Humber, going on to get a master's and a PhD in psychology is an option. Medical school, again, is an option. I'm so pleased this past couple of weeks, all of my graduate students, my fourth years are getting their acceptance letters. I'm happy to say that one of my students emailed me this morning saying that she got into her PhD program at UBC. So some wonderful things. Masters of Social Work, again, Masters in Education, Masters of Arts in Science, Masters of Science, Masters in Counseling and Psychology. These are, again, not an exhausted list, but just some of the programs that our students get into. Next slide, please. Some current statistics. So from 2019, we spent a lot of time doing research at the University of Guelph-Humber, especially in our psychology program. And one of our alumni department put together a graduate survey. And from that graduate survey, 89.7% of our graduates are currently employed or pursuing further education. 75.4% of our graduates consider their career to be either highly related or somewhat related. So again, having that degree and diploma at the same time really gives you a wonderful opportunity to get the education and the academic rigor, as well as the field practicum and internship experience. Next slide, please. And these are just some testimonials. They actually come directly from our psychology partners. So Maureen Elliott from the Distress Center of Greater Toronto was actually networking with us this past fall. She came out, we had opportunities for our students to be able to meet with her and go through what her job looked like and what field placement could potentially look like. So this is just one of the testimonials from her. Next slide, please. This is another one from CAMS Kids Foundation. CAMS Kid is an advocacy group, and they actually have a chapter where students can be volunteers on the university. And this is they support young people struggling with anxiety. So some great opportunities to not only do field placement with CAMS Kids, but also to be able to engage with great conversation online. Next slide, please. And we go into guest speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for all of that wonderful career and placement information for our audience members. So I think it's really safe to say that whether you do have a career path in mind right now, or you're still navigating your options when it comes to your career, placement and experiential learning is now more than ever becoming so much more imperative, so that you are graduating with experience, but also most importantly, confidence to help guide your career decisions and success. So I definitely implore all of you, as you continue to do your post-secondary research for a university, make that one of the key considering factors, placement, when choosing the most suitable program for you, and consider all of the opportunities that it can lead to once you graduate. The world is definitely your oyster. So you finally might be thinking that all the information that Joseph and Sandra covered today sounds amazing. And of course it does. Our psychology program is fantastic, but we also know how important it is to try before you buy. And this is particularly for a university program. Now, we know your research would not be complete without hearing from a current student or two for yourself about their experience and what they hope to achieve in their future career. So without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce two fourth-year students in the psychology program. We have Cassia Kagan and Isabella O'Doherty. welcome to both of our students.
Hello.
Hi. It's nice to see both of you again. Now, I just have a few questions for you that I'm sure our audience members are very curious to know. So before we begin that, this is just a reminder for our guests. If you do have any questions or any feedback of what you've heard so far for our staff and students, don't hesitate to send that our way through the Q&A chat. We do love to hear from you, so don't hesitate to do so. All right, so we're gonna start our first question for Isabella. So Isabella, when you were considering university programs back where our audience was, what made you choose our psychology program?
Okay, so when I was considering university programs, I actually ended up applying to 3 different schools. I did get accepted into all 3 of them, but the reason why Guelph-Humber stood out to me over all of them was their welcoming and inclusive energy. So I attended a university fair in Toronto, and when I walked up to Guelph-Humber's booth, I knew I'd found the school for me. Everyone was so inviting, and I felt so comfortable and seen and heard when I was chatting with the school representatives. Even before I got accepted, I already felt like more than a number there, and I felt like an individual who could really bring my own personality and interest to the school. Discovering that Guelph-Humber has small class sizes and many opportunities to get involved is really what sold it for me. And it really took away a lot of my anxiety knowing that I'd be attending a school where I could personally connect with my professors and my peers instead of just blending into a sea of hundreds of students. So that's what really made the decision for me for Guelph-Humber.
Awesome. Thank you, Isabella. And I know that a lot of our students definitely comment on that. Coming to visit campus, they definitely felt that sense of home, and the small class sizes definitely alleviates all of that anxiety. I remember when I was a student, I felt the same. Thank you so much for that answer. It's wonderful. My next question is for Cassia. So Cassia, in our psychology program, all of our courses help define you learning why humans think, feel, and behave the way that they do. So we offer courses such as developmental psychology, personality, and abnormal psychology. So I want to know, what have been some of your favorite courses and why?
Yeah, so actually abnormal psychology has probably been my favorite course so far. And I think a lot of it has to do with like the course content and just the way that the course was set up. It was definitely a very applied course, so we took a lot of what we learned and actually like put it into practice. So I remember having to do an assignment that was like a case study. Basically, we had to pick a fictional character and then try and give them a diagnosis, as if we were like a psychologist, basically, and write about it and talk about why we would diagnose them with like a certain disorder. And I thought that was really cool because obviously a lot of us coming into the psychology program want to eventually become a psychologist. So this early on, being able to actually kind of see what that would be like was really cool. And definitely one of my favorite courses so far. I also really enjoyed neuroscience, which was surprising for me as I'm not a super science-oriented person. I find that I struggle sometimes to understand the concepts, but the prof for that course was amazing. And we got to do really cool things like make different brain structures out of like candy and pipe cleaners and stuff like that. And it really helped with kind of understanding how everything works. So that course was really memorable for me just because of the way it was kind of structured and set up. And the content was really interesting too, because I found that I could really understand it. And the prof was available for me to kind of like explain things when I didn't really get it. So I was very thankful for that. And those are definitely 2 that stand out the most to me.
That's so cool. Thank you for your answer. I mean, the fact that you were able to take, I'm sure a lot of us watch Netflix out there. So take something that we do every day, a character that we love, and provide them a diagnosis. That's a very interesting approach to education. So I guess my point here is that it really does show you how Guelph-Humber really takes all of the theories that you would learn in class and then apply it before you actually get out into the real world. So thank you for providing that. My next question is for Isabella. So can you tell us about any other opportunities that you've had within the program, such as research, field studies, society, so outside of the classroom, but program related?
For sure. So in the psychology program and even Guelph-Humber in general, there's so many groups, teams, and societies that you can be a part of. So this really enriches your university experience because not only are you gaining these connections and friendships with people and building on your interpersonal skills, but you can also get paid for a lot of positions. So for me, I'm a START leader and I'm a part of two societies, Psych Society and Pre-Med Society. So being a START leader has allowed me to enter a family in Guelph-Humber of like-minded individuals who wanted to be a part of an opportunity where they get to, improve their leadership skills and help others. So in person and on campus, START leaders serve as role models for incoming students. They host school tours and attend many events promoting Guelph-Humber. So this year, due to COVID, I was a virtual START leader, but I still had the opportunity to host virtual tours and attend online events to reach out to other students. For Psych Society, we host a lot of common times, which are basically events where we gather together and provide information on everything you need to know about our fields. So we touch on topics like informational interviews, building resumes, job searching, networking, all of those things, and different career pathways in psychology. And we also have amazing guest speakers and psychologists who speak about their careers in psychology and provide their advice and wisdom. And I'm also a year representative for Psych Society, which means that I promote and plan different events for the society. And for pre-med, it's a new and upcoming society for kinesiology and psychology students. And it focuses on students who are interested in pursuing medical pathways after graduation and meeting those goals. And as well, I'm actually volunteering with a professor right now who is writing a book in the mental health field, and she recruited a bunch of students to help her out. And that's been a really interesting opportunity to work with a professor, and it's something I gain experience from, and it's another connection I'm making. So there's so many opportunities to connect with people for sure at Guelph-Humber.
That's amazing. You have such a great roster of experiences under your belt. And again, all from extracurriculars, again, from our close-knit community, finding opportunities to build your resume and network in the psychology field. But I can attest to the START program. I know working with Isabella and Cassia at different events, that's always such a good time making those connections and helping students such as yourself. So thank you for sharing that experience. So I'm going to move on to the next question, and this is for Cassia. So this is not really common, as Joseph had mentioned, in psychology programs, but our students actually do get to the opportunity to complete 100 hours of mandatory placement. So Cassia, do you mind sharing your experience and then maybe touch on some things that you learned from your placement and how it's prepared you for graduation?
Yeah, for sure. I actually just completed my placement as of last week, pretty much. I worked as a research volunteer at the University of Toronto, specifically at the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education. And I worked in the academic intervention lab there, and I've worked on a bunch of different projects. I'm continuing to volunteer even though my placement is over, but during my placement, I was basically working on a project that was looking at ways to make the learning disability diagnosis process shorter, as it's a very long process right now, and it keeps students on the wait list for a really long time and kind of like deprives them of getting that help that they need early on when it's mostly needed. So I was kind of working on doing literature reviews for that. And it's been a really cool experience because I do kind of see myself after I graduate going into a field that kind of works with school psychology and stuff like that. So getting that kind of experience of what I'll probably be getting into like already in my third year has been really cool. And even getting that research experience has been really great because a lot of undergraduate students don't always get research experience, especially in a lab at another institution. So that's been a really cool opportunity for me, and I've learned a ton. And I know that it's definitely solidified what it is that I want to do after I graduate, because I was definitely a little bit unsure before placement. But after I did this, I was like, yes, this is definitely something that I can see myself getting into.
That's amazing. And Cassia, I think you nailed it in saying that placement is really a test drive for a career that you think that you want to do and just want to take it for a test drive. for lack of a better comparison, and research as well. I'd just like to highlight that research in our psychology program is definitely something that's quite popular. Lots of different research opportunities on campus to work with professors and program heads. So I'm sure that may be an interest to some of our audience members. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Cass. My next question is for Isabella. Now, can you share with us any opportunities that have enhanced your experience at the university? I know you talked about START. Care to expand on any other experiences?
For sure. So what we offer at Guelph-Humber is study abroad. So I would definitely recommend that people look into that. So although with COVID, I couldn't attend mine, I did get accepted into a Portugal-Spain study abroad trip, and I got accepted with an amazing scholarship. And I couldn't even believe all the places like I would have went and the knowledge I would have gained. And what you do over there is you go for about 2 weeks and you take like a course. So you're learning over there. And specifically with my Portugal, Spain trip I would have went on, I would have been learning about the culture there and like traveling to all of these places and learning about the food and all of that. So I find that really cool to just step outside and gain like a cultural experience. And especially as the world starts to open back up again, I think students should really take the time to imagine where they would want to go and really like think of like any place you would want to go. You could study there and gain so much experience. I have a few friends who actually went on study abroad, and they all told me it's a trip they're going to remember forever. And I think it's a great opportunity. Aside from study abroad, another thing that I've gained is my friendships actually from Guelph-Humber. Again, touching on me saying that it's a tight-knit community. I made an amazing group of friends, and we all hang out outside of school and get together. And I really have learned so much from them. And just surrounding yourself with people that have the same interests as you and are very like goal driven and like amazing people like that makes such a difference for you to like be motivated in studying, be motivated in like figuring out your future. So I really think Guelph-Humber provides that for you, instead of like being in a school where you know, it's very big and can't really talk to a lot of people. Having your friend group is so reassuring and comforting as you're going through this experience. So those are the two biggest things for sure.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Isabella. Yes, at Guelph-Humber, I guess the common theme is you really do find your people, really, and so many different ways across all different programs, and even with study abroad. I mean, I know right now we can't travel, and I'm so sorry you weren't able to go on your study abroad. Hopefully, you'll get to go to Spain soon, but it is definitely growing in popularity among our student audience, and by the time that this group comes through, I'm sure that we'll have a plethora of different opportunities for you to see the world while gaining credit. I definitely encourage all of you to check that out. So thanks again, Isabella, for sharing. We do have a couple questions left. My next question is for Cass. So after graduating from the University of Guelph-Humber, what are your plans?
After I graduate, my main plan is to kind of take a year to get some more research experience and experience in like educational settings and such. And then I do plan to pursue a master's. I'm definitely kind of looking at the school psychology route, and I've been looking into programs like school and applied child psychology. And I think that's definitely the route that I want to take. But yeah, until I get there, definitely just getting some more experience in the field is definitely my plan.
Amazing. And I'm actually also going to ask Isabella. I believe that you had mentioned you are looking to do a master's degree at some point, but would you like to share with us what your plans might be?
For sure. So same as Cass, I am planning on taking a year off. I think everything with COVID especially kind of made that decision for me. I know everyone probably in the audience can relate that it's been like challenging to transition to an online like environment and things like that. But I think with Guelph-Humber, whatever you decide to do, like moving forward, we definitely have the support for you to, if you want to go straight into your master's, as Sandra was saying earlier, there's so many resources to plan that out. If students, and I have heard a lot of students that want to take a year off, there's so much you can do with that time as well. I definitely would not discourage it, like getting work in the field. And again, Sandra can help set those opportunities up for you as well, is is definitely a great opportunity as well. And for me personally, I'm looking into either a master's in therapy or something like in that realm. I'm thinking I want to go the therapist route. So yeah, that's what I'm personally looking into.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. I know that sometimes is a bit of an intimidating question, but it's great that you have some kind of plans put in place, and it's okay to change your mind from time to time and figure it out. That was a very similar boat when I graduated, so I remember that. And last question. This is actually going to be directed to both Isabella and Cass. And I really do like this question. So I want you both just to take a moment and reflect back to when you were in the shoes of our audience. You were in grade 12 and having to make this very big, very seeming important decision in your life. Now, what advice can you give to our grade 12 students who are tuning in today as they go forth and make their decision on which university, best fitting university they should attend? I will begin with Cassia to answer.
Yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice is to kind of sit and think about where you feel most comfortable and where you can see yourself as a student. I think it'd be really easy to kind of fall into the trap of, oh, I want to go where all my friends are going, or I want to go to that really popular school or something. And sometimes that is the right fit, but you definitely shouldn't feel that you need to go that way just because of a school's reputation or because all your friends are going there. It's really important to make sure that you're making the decision that you want to make, because obviously you're going to be spending a lot of time there. 4 years is still a very long time. So you want to make sure that you're kind of getting the education that you want and the experiences you want out of it. So definitely don't be afraid to kind of stray from the popular route or like where all your friends are going and kind of pursue your own path. Yeah.
What a great piece of advice, because at the end of the day, university is about finding your home away from home. I can definitely attest to that. It's not just about program is very important, of course, but you want to be able to feel comfortable in home and feel like you're at home. So well said. Isabella, how about you? What advice do you have for our audience?
I think my biggest piece of advice would be to remember that it's not really a huge rush, and especially when you choose your university and go into your university life, you have the time. It's very manageable to break up your goals into 4 years and get where you want to be at the end of the 4 years. So I know everyone is like, I have to do this at this age, and all of those, we have these pressures on us, and I don't know if a lot of the audience can relate to that, but I would definitely say it seems very intimidating and scary at first going into it, as it is definitely a new change. But when it's broken up and you can see okay, I want to accomplish this year and these are my goals, it is definitely manageable to achieve them. And you know what, I think for everyone, we're all going to find our path. And I know that sounds really corny, but we all truly have our own talents and skills that we can apply to the world, and we can get a career. It's definitely important to stay in that mindset. Definitely don't be discouraged. If you are following what you're truly passionate about, that passion will drive you, and you're going to want to work hard to get where you want to be. So don't think you can't do it, and don't be too intimidated by oh, it's university, it's totally different. You do have the 4 years, and you have the time to see where you want to go and break up those goals and see what you want to do. So it's definitely possible to get where you want to be, for sure.
Such a great point. Another great point is finding your passion. University is all about finding what you're passionate about. You actually have the choice now to choose what program suits you really well. So well said, both of you. Thank you. So that concludes our interview. Thank you, Cassia and Isabella, for all of your amazing insight. As I'm sure you remember back again when you were in the shoes of our applicants, I'm sure our audience found your stories and perspectives and advice very helpful as they continue on their journey to find their best fitting university. So thank you so much again for your perspective, which now leads us to another very important perspective, and that is experiencing campus for yourself. Now, while we know that nothing can really replace the actual live campus experience, and while we would want nothing more than to invite you to our welcoming campus, as you heard from our students, we do have one of our student ambassadors, Ivana, who is going to be here to guide you through our virtual campus experience over the next 10 minutes. Now, this is probably the quickest tour we'll ever deliver, but with that said, we'll have Ivana take it away. And also, please note, immediately following the tour, we will finish off with a live Q&A to address all of the remaining questions that we have in the Q&A. So please keep those questions coming. All right, welcome, Ivana.
Thank you, Caitlin, and hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Ivana, and I'm in my second year of the psychology program. Welcome onto the University of Guelph-Humber campus. I do encourage all of you to grab your drinks and snacks as we continue with the university tour. I'm so excited to be here with you and to take you up to the front steps and inside the UFGH campus. Grab your things and let's go. Follow me and this cool-looking START leader around our 4-story building chock full of student support and state-of-the-art facilities. Let's start where students gather every day, in our North Atrium. The North Atrium is the hub of student life. It looks up to our signature spiral staircase, one of 5 staircases and 2 elevators that accesses our upper floors. It hosts a virtual current events board and is a gathering point that literally breathes life into our 4-story building with its 4-story plant wall. And yes, before you ask, it is real. In fact, it is made up of over 1,000 species of plants and one of the first of its kind here in Canada. Its biofilter cleans the air in the building and offers the perfect backdrop for a selfie. Now, as we move around the atrium, we pass by our main entrance, info desk, and our many student service offices, here to support you in our admission, advising on for work placements, career planning, academics, and our student financial services. Students connect with student services to speak to our helpful staff on a one-to-one to ensure they are always making their most here at Guelph-Humber. Now back in our atrium, business students can be found making events come to life in our art gallery, where in the Events Management 2 course, student groups are given a budget of $1,500 to source, plan, and execute a live event. Events of all kinds have been held here, from art exhibitions to product launches. Across the atrium, from the art gallery, we find rooms GH111 and GH117, to 120-seat lecture halls, the largest at the university. With an average class size of 49, most of our classrooms seat about 65 students, but larger first-year courses are mostly held here. It is equipped with natural lighting, swivel chairs, and my personal favorite, outlets that students are able to access if they are in need of charging their laptops or other devices. The classrooms still maintain the opportunity to work in small, intimate groups. Now, as we head back to the spiral staircase and up to the 2nd floor, let's check out our newly renovated practice presentation rooms. It is built with the help of our alumni donors. These rooms act as a practice boardrooms for student project groups to enhance their public speaking, PPT presentation, meeting, and case delivery skills. The sound dampening design feature allows for quiet in the room when campus is busy. Our new case competition course allows business students to learn how to tackle business cases and the opportunity to take part in one of our award-winning case competition teams, some of which have taken home some major hardware at competitions across the globe, such as this big win last year in Johannesburg, South Africa. My GH senior Emma worked extremely hard to prepare for competitions while on the scene, and she often credits these experiences in getting her job after graduation as a senior reconciliation officer at Scotiabank. As we work our way around the second floor, we find various student spaces for individual study and study groups, as well as our learning commons, where many student workers help other classmates with computer, academic, career, and research support, and get paid and build resume experience for doing so. Now, just around the corner, the Ignite Leadership Lounge is located across from our GH Cafe Eatery, and it gives a space for student leaders to assemble, plan, and execute student initiatives, events, and pursue common interests. Many future leaders find themselves in meetings in this space. Whether your interest is leading a club, an academic society, or many getting involved in student politics. Now, it's time to head up to our third floor, where we'll take a peek inside several applied learning labs. The Early Childhood Studies program boasts two amazing facilities on this floor. The Innovative Learning Lab, which is a state-of-the-art classroom that teaches future educators to understand learning styles by using them themselves. Learning pods are equipped with smart boards and a variety of sitting styles, including wiggle stools, beanbag chairs, and bicycle desks for the active kinesthetic learner. A fun story that I have heard in this room is that one of my fellow START leader, Maywish, was sitting on a beanbag chair during an exam to ease her anxiety and nervousness. The Early Childhood Resource Room is the social hub for ECS students, and where students can sign out hundreds of learning resources to bring to work placements in schools and therapeutic settings, such as Ronald McDonald House and Sick Kids Hospital, among many others, in order to learn techniques to enrich their lesson plans. Next, we will move into the Crime Scene Investigation Lab. But before that, should you feel uncomfortable with viewing a crime scene up close, please minimize your Zoom window at this time. The CSI lab is set up by professors to emulate the various components of a recent crime. Students will assess fingerprints and blood splatter, and just one of the many ways our justice studies students apply their classroom learning outside of the classroom. Students can join and compete in international case competitions or get involved and prepare for law school or other graduate studies with our Pre-Law Society or Alpha Phi Sigma Honors Society. You may now revert back to the original size of your Zoom window as we move to the next part of our tour. Just down the hall, you'll find a series of labs dedicated to our media and communication studies students. Our editing suite features 27-inch iMac workstations, which is equipped with industry-leading design software, such as the Adobe Creative Cloud, are here for digital journalism and visual communication students to produce and edit their work. Our control room allows students to learn how to create the lighting and sound behind the magic of television. Now let's take a quick peek into our photography lab, where digital marketing and social media, visual communication, and multimedia journalism students shoot and edit their work. Our multi-purpose production studio hosts a soundstage, a green screen, and allows students to produce live television broadcasts and podcasts on location. Does the setting look familiar? For those who follow us on social media at Guelph-Humber, you might recognize some of these facilities as we put them to use for our web series called What's Up Wednesdays. Lastly, our new and ever-evolving virtual reality lab is equipped with the 360 Google cameras that allowed us to create much of this tour. Now, down the hall and around the corner, we find the Experiential Learning Lab, which is used by our community social services students, and a simulated model of a typical community agency office, with two counseling rooms and a one-way mirror, which allows students to role-play their client interviews and mock counseling sessions. In this same space, psychology students use the lab to conduct research. Students can be hired as research assistants to work a paid position alongside a professor to collect and interpret data on a specific topic. If you don't feel like doing so, but still want to network on your first year, you'll find that most researchers on campus are looking for participants, and you may also join and be part of their study. I know when I was in my first year here at GH, I have participated in several studies, and that enabled me to get to know my fellow classmates, seniors, and future professors. A former tour leader and senior of mine named Skylar was hired as a psychology research assistant last year, and the topic she studied helped her to write her thesis and have the opportunity to present her findings at an academic conference last winter. Now, as we head back down to the second floor, we invite you to get to know the full Humber College campus by visiting their North Campus virtual tour, which can be found at humber.ca. Humber Buildings houses many of our shared student services, such as the library, housed in the Learning Resource Commons, the bookstore, the Student Wellness and Accessibility Center, our math and writing centers, international and testing centers, as well as additional eateries. There are so many food options at Humber, and as a foodie, I spend most of my time in this part of Humber because of the different variations of food they have every day. I mean, if you're a burrito lover, if jerk chicken is your jam, or you like to keep it light and healthy with veggie bowls, salad bars, or the odd burgers, we have the options for you. If you are also on a budget, well, like all students are, I highly suggest that you look forward to our Pay What You Can soup bar, which is available 2 days a week that caters to students using all sustainable cooking methods. Lastly, found at Humber and frequently by our students are the athletic facilities, study spaces, and our unique kinesiology labs. The exercise prescription lab is where students take courses and partake in related hands-on learning, such as taping, and get to use body assessment equipment, such as bod pods, which allows students to understand body composition in the context of health. From here, we'll head back across the bridge and out through our main doors for a quick walk across the parking lot to Residence, where U of GH shares 3 buildings and living learning communities with Humber College students. For students who want to live on campus, single-style rooms are assigned to applicants who receive an offer of admission and apply to residence by June 1st. Living in residence has the added perk of being situated on the Humber Arboretum, a 250-acre green space set just behind the campus and is filled with award-winning garden spaces, hiking trails, and even an outdoor classroom. And now that you've had a glimpse around the U of GH building and its surrounding area, I hope you have a feel for what it's like to benefit from the many state-of-the-art facilities we pack into one friendly building and the high level of support and many opportunities that come along with being a U of GH student. Thanks for joining me on our guided tour. Now I'll turn it back to Caitlin to share a few important reminders.
Hey, Katie, I just believe you're muted.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So I'll just go back and say thank you so much, Ivana, for all of that lovely information. I do miss campus myself, but I do hope that that virtual experience gave you some information and insight to how the University of Guelph-Humber looks and how our students find it home away from home. So now we're going to turn it over to your questions. So I'm going to just ask that our presenters and our students turn their cameras and mics on. So thank you to all of our lovely guests who have submitted their questions. And we do recognize that we will be a little bit over time for our scheduled program. So we do appreciate you sticking around so that we can get to your questions. We do invite you, if you do have any more questions, to keep them coming as we would like to address those. So I'm going to start this first question to direct that to Joseph. The question here is, how many days per week will first-year students have classes?
All right, so that is definitely a great question and one that we get often. But the one thing that I will tell you is, at the University of Guelph-Humber, during course registration, students will be able to select what course they'll be taking. They may have an option between the day and the time as well. So there's not a set time frame. It's not like high school where you may start at 8:15 and end around 2:30. You do have a variation of time slots that you can have your classes partake. I believe the earliest time a class will start is approximately 8 a.m. And I think the latest that a class will go out to, if I'm not mistaken, is between the hours of 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. So it's really up to what you make your schedule to be. Typically in your first year, you'll have several different options to choose from. So the great news is if you're trying to juggle a part-time job, you may have that flexibility to do so, but there is definitely not a set schedule. So stay tuned. As a first-year student, your course selection will occur. You'll know exactly what time frame that is, and then you'll be able to choose what courses you'll be taking at what times. And the good news for course selection, you don't have to worry about what courses do you need to take. They are already kind of pre-assigned in the sense of we'll tell you what courses you'll need to be taking in your first semesters. And then the only option that really you are left to is looking at what dates and times they're available at and creating your own schedule there. Hopefully that answers.
Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, that was very good in depth. I hope that answered your questions at home for those who are interested in working around their class schedule. So this next question I have is for Sandra. So Sandra, have people gone into speech pathology with the psychology program?
Yes, actually, Caitlin, so funny. I was talking to a second-year psychology student this morning, and we were talking about speech and language pathology. So yes, it is possible. And again, I know that Joseph has said this in the beginning part of the presentation, but you will be receiving a 4-year honors bachelor's degree from Guelph University. So any master's program you would be able to apply to. So that's really great. Specifically with speech and language pathology, it's really important that you understand the specific courses that are required. So for speech and language, you would require a linguistics You would require an anatomy and a psychology. So the psychology part, that checks the box. The linguistics and the anatomy are courses that are offered at the University of Guelph-Humber. Now you would work with if you knew this was your career path, you would work specifically with your academic advisor to make sure that you can get those courses into your electives. So yes, to answer your question, it is possible.
Awesome. So good news for one of our guests out there, and so many possibilities. So thank you, Sandra. My next question is for Sandra. Once again, we do have a few career placement, further education questions coming down the pipe. So this one's about placement. Do the workplace placements occur during school hours?
Yes, they do, but they can also be outside of those hours. So for our work placements in psychology, that occurs in third year. So in third year, in the winter of third year, so between January and April, you would do 100 field placement hours. Now those hours, it is built into your schedule that you would have a day during the week to be able to do that. But a lot of our students, and again, when you're talking about some unique environments, where you're doing either research or you're having to work with vulnerable sectors, you may have an opportunity to do field placement for like 4 hours on a Monday and then maybe 4 hours on a Saturday to make those 8 hours a week. So it can be very flexible.
Awesome. More flexibility. How great is that? Thank you, Sandra. This next question is pertaining to further education. So does this program include any courses to assist students to enter their career or apply for master's programs?
I think all university programs, and especially ours, really does prepare you for your master's program. Again, you have to, over those 4 years, you need to bring the academic, you need to bring your grade point average, but we have so many wonderful resources to be able to support you through your academics. We talked about the writing center, we talked about the math center, and I think that really does support students. So yes, definitely when it comes to, the question was career, no, did you remove it already? Sorry, I was reading the questions.
No worries.
When it comes to, sorry, go.
Oh, I was just gonna add, is there any assistance through coursework to help students in entering their career or apply for master's programs?
Yes, we do that all the time. So I think it was Cassia that said, or sorry, Isabella, I think talked about our common time. So the common time is put together by our program heads. And this is an opportunity for first years right through to fourth years to meet with myself. I do a whole bunch of informational interviews during that time and webinars. We also have our societies during that time as well. And you get an opportunity to talk to instructors. You get an opportunity to talk to Dr. David Danto and Dr. Adam Sanford. And they talk about their experiences and what that looks like in moving into a master's program. So we spend really 4 years really preparing you for that, if that's your choice, if that's your career path.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sandra. We have a couple more career related questions. Quite specific. I think there's a few members of our audience who might have some career paths or kind of industries in mind as it relates to psychology. So I'll throw this first one. So are there any careers that happen to combine psychology and art and digital design?
So art and digital design, that's a very, very unique one. Again, I reiterate, you're getting a 4-year honors bachelor's degree, and your degree gives you a way of thinking. Your field placement gives you an opportunity to network. So if you were really looking for something that had art or digital design in it, and that was kind of your area of expertise, then definitely we would look at connecting you with community organizations for your field placement that had that as a focus. And yes, I do actually have 2 students over the past 2 years that have gone on to a Master's of Art Therapy. So one went to Adler University in Vancouver, and the other one has gone this year, just got accepted to the Toronto Art Therapy Institute. So yes, you can use your degree to move on into that area.
So cool. I would have never have known that that was an option, but I guess it's safe to say that when it comes to your career, there's so many options out there that even I remember myself as a grad didn't know it was possible until
And
I really tried it out.
I have one other. There is a student that's doing a postgrad certificate in publishing. So they really wanted to do publishing. So they're taking their degree and going on and doing a postgrad certificate program. So you need a degree in order to get into a postgrad certificate. So that's what they're doing with this.
So interesting. Yeah, that's great. And I mean, with psychology, it's so vast. You're working with people, right? So many different opportunities. Thanks, Sandra. And I just have one more career-related question for you. And this sounds familiar to me, but have people gone into forensic psychology through this program? Do you have any examples there?
Yes, currently we're involved in a lecture series with St. Joseph's Health Science Center and the Forensic Psychiatric Department at St. Joseph's in Hamilton. We're in an international lecture series. So we're getting an opportunity to listen to different PhDs from all over the world. So some great opportunities. Again, your degree is a 4-year honors bachelor's degree from Guelph University. So when you look at master's programs moving forward, and those of you that are here tonight are most likely saying, okay, my undergrad is really my first step. And you are correct. If you want to be a clinical psychologist, you will be required to have a PhD. If you want to be a psychotherapist, you will be required to have a master's degree. If you want to be a social worker, you will be required to have a master's degree. It's really important to pick an undergrad that you're going to do well in, because all of them require you to have a very high grade point average. And I do have to say, after you see Cassia and you see Isabella, and talking to them, I've met with both of them, which is absolutely amazing. And I'm so proud of them. They're getting to the end of their academic career. But it's so important to understand that there are those next steps. And the University of Guelph-Humber gives you an opportunity with the small class sizes to connect with your program heads and your instructors. And it really already sets you up so nicely for the next step, which is a master's or PhD program. With this psychology program, you can actually do a thesis in your 4th year. And again, a lot of the master's programs and PhD programs that you're talking about here will require you to have that thesis experience. And you will get that hands-on small environment thesis experience. We also have opportunities through a job portal. So we have in Career and Placement Service, we have a job portal. So we help you find the placement of your choice. We're not placing you, we're actually preparing you for your placement. So we do pre-placement opportunities for you, cover letters, resumes, interview skills. And we've been able to take that right online and be able to do that remotely for our students this year. And our students successfully have done placement this year as well.
Thank you, Sandra. I think you also just inadvertently answered. We had a couple more questions come through. One of them being, are students able to choose their preferred placement? So
yes.
Through the guidance of Career and Placement, it sounds like there are many options that students can choose from. In terms of all of the great stuff that you had talked about, benefits for applying to masters, so small class sizes, getting that degree, diploma, certificate, having those credentials. Is there any other pieces or factors that can help through this program to get to a master's degree?
Definitely. Right now we have, we just posted Dr. Adam Sanford is in collaboration with 2 other universities, and he's looking for 3 research assistants. So we do a lot of research at the University of Guelph-Humber, and this is really the experience that you're going to need to move forward onto a PhD. So, again, you've got this opportunity in our common time. I love common time. We used to do, in person on campus, and now we're doing it virtually. And it gives an opportunity to really talk to people that have a PhD and how did they get there? So learning to do those informational interviews, I think it was Isabella that talked about that one. So this is your opportunity to do that. And again, it's that nice small class sizes and that intimate environment. But I think it was Cassia who said, or maybe even Ivana that said, you know, taking the time when you first come and enjoying that university experience. And you can do that through the societies that we have. So we really prepare you right from year one. We, you know, as a career coordinator, I come out to your classes and I you know, go, hey, this is what, you know, we've got going on. We've got contests for you. Come and get your resume redone. So we do some really great things over the 4 years to really prepare you. And we have a distinct 4-year plan that you can view online, that is all those small steps, academic rigor, getting the grade point average, and then the field placement and the networking piece. So we prepare you right through to the end.
Awesome. So much support. Thank you, Sandra. We've been getting a lot of really great questions, and I can see that there are a few more coming in, but I'm going to switch gears and give you a bit of a break for now with the career and further education questions. So my next question is for Joseph. In terms of students who are enrolling in the fall, we usually have some sort of orientation that will take place. Given the current circumstances, will there still continue to be an orientation week of some sorts that will happen?
Yeah, for sure. So as I mentioned throughout today's presentation, at the University of Guelph-Humber, we are constantly here to support you. And no matter whether that be in a virtual setting or a physical setting, that doesn't change things. So we will have what is known as our orientation, or Kickstart rather. And Kickstart typically takes place, I don't think it's been announced for this year when exactly it will be taking place, but I believe that is sometime in July. So I know last year, due to the pandemic, it was transitioned into a virtual setting. And it is a great opportunity for you to kind of learn about the transition from high school to university, and just kind of gain a sense of community, but also feel a little bit more comfortable prior to entering into the September, where you'll begin your studies with us. So yes, there will be orientation, and more details of orientation will be sent to you closer to the date. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, rest assured, orientation will happen, and that's known as Kickstart at the University of Guelph-Humber.
Thanks, Joseph. And then at the same time, I have another question for you regarding the last date to accept your offer. Mark your calendars, everyone. What is the last date to accept your offer, Joseph?
Yeah, that is the golden date. So June 1st is the deadline to accept your offer to any Ontario university. So that is the date that you don't want to miss. So make sure that you do accept your offers by June 1st. A fair warning ahead of time. You know, we advise that you try to accept your offer a little sooner, whether that be to the University of Guelph-Humber or not, as sometimes due to the overwhelming demand of the website and how many people are actually on it, sometimes it can crash on that June 1st date. So you don't want to run into any anxiety-prone situations. Try to accept your offer beforehand if possible. And the key there also is kind of a fun tip is once you accept your offer successfully, you'll be issued a confirmation number. So that confirmation number pops up on your screen. It's not emailed to you. So once you close that browser, it disappears. So make sure, take out your phone, snap a picture of it, write it down, do whatever you have to do. Record that confirmation number, as if anything does happen, if there's a glitch in the system or for whatever reason, that's your way to kind of tell us or any institution rather that you accepted your offer. So yeah, June 1st, remember that. Put it in your calendars now.
Mark your calendars, yes. Thank you, Joseph. I'm going to turn these, we have 2 more questions left, one of which I think I can even actually answer. There was someone wondering if there are any master's programs at the University of Guelph-Humber. Unfortunately, not at this time. We have 7 undergraduate programs at the university. So if you are wanting to do a master's program, you definitely would be wanting to look into other institutions that fit the bill for you. Last question I will direct to Sandra. Once again, thank you, Sandra. Are there any careers that you can follow with just an honors degree and that does not require a master's or higher?
Yes, I love talking with my psychology students, especially always around holiday times. They'll come and they'll meet with me and they'll say, you know, my family was asking me all these kind of questions. What do I do with a psychology degree? Because I just love to learn about psychology. And I always say to them, I've got the magic answer for you. You can say to them, actually, I can do anything with a psychology degree, because your degree is giving you a way of thinking. So my students that don't want to go on to a master's right now, they want to take time off, or maybe that's just not in their future, they just don't want to do that. They can go on into any career path that you want, because you will have a 4-year honors bachelor's degree. So I have 2 colleagues at the university that I work with that have completed psychology degrees with us here at the University of Guelph-Humber. I have students that have gone on to be intake workers, research analysts at CAMH. All you need to have is your degree, research assistants. Any job that requires a degree you can apply for. We do see a lot, or I see a lot of parallels to business. So we see a lot of getting into sales. We see a lot of, because don't forget, your degree is going to be in human behavior. So, I mean, I have a student that did an internship with Canadian Tire. And now they did a summer internship and they've done different things within the office structure of Canadian Tire. And then they're going to continue with that. And right now they've just been hired a position to work in their sales department. So they're going to work there. And again, this is something we talk about 5 years from now. You can come back and you can actually use our service as an alumni. And you can come back 5 years from now and say, you know what, I think I want to apply to a master's now. And this particular student is actually thinking about doing a master's in law. And why? Because a master's in law will teach you about systems. And you can get a master's in law with an undergrad in psychology. So lots of possibilities.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Again, lots of helpful information there about where your degree can take you. So I'd like to thank our presenters, our students, so Joseph, Sandra, Cassia, and Isabella, as well as Ivana, for all of the great information that you've delivered today. And that concludes our webinar. So again, thank you so much for sticking around with us. I know we went a little over time. We really do hope that you found the information and stories shared today very helpful as you continue to pursue your university research. Now, the conversation does not end here. We would like to continue working with you and helping you however we can throughout the next few months as you continue to consider all of your different options in post-secondary. So with that said, we do invite you to check out all of the different resources that we've posted in our chat. We're also going to be posting other ways to connect in the chat as well. And so that includes our other virtual offerings. So with that said, we do have, I think I mentioned at the beginning, our GH Talk series. So upcoming program webinars, other program webinars outside of psychology, as well as other points of interest. If you want to get access to a recording of this webinar, it will be available on our website as well. So you can access recordings as well as other virtual offerings there. I also want to point out for anybody interested in learning more about what comes after you accept your offer, we do have next steps happening on May 26th. So here it offers different sessions, ways to connect with our staff and students, to allow you to discover your next steps to becoming a U of GH student. So for more information, to access these program webinar recordings, to register for all of our upcoming offerings, please use the Visit Us link in the chat. or we would also be emailing you those as well. So one thing to note is Next Steps is not available just yet, but it will be coming in the coming weeks. So any further questions that you have for us about the program or the University of Guelph-Humber, you can check out our website, guelphumber.ca/future students for more information. We're also available to be contacted by phone, email, or you can also book a virtual one-on-one appointment with one of our staff members. So please use the link in the chat or on our Visit Us page to book a one-on-one appointment. So especially if you have any specific questions for us, we'd love to work with you one-on-one there. Lastly, please follow us on all social channels for all the latest and greatest U of GH news and updates. So that's all from us. Thank you so much again for joining us this evening and for your interest in the University of Guelph-Humber. I'd like to send you all off by wishing the best of luck in all of your post-secondary research. Bye now.